The WNBA is officially on life support, and the $2.2 billion heart monitor is about to flatline. For months, the media has been shoved down our throats, telling us that the league has finally made it to the big leagues. They pointed to the sold-out arenas and the record-breaking jersey sales as proof that the business model was finally fixed. But while the fans were cheering for logo threes and flashy crossovers, the lawyers for Disney and NBC Universal were sharpening their knives. The new media rights package starting in 2026 is not a reward for the league's growth, but a predatory loan that the WNBA cannot afford to pay back. The league office signed a deal that includes a performance trigger tied directly to viewership floor numbers that have never been sustained in the history of women's basketball. If the ratings do not stay at an all-time high for the next decade, the networks can legally void the contract and leave the league with 0 broadcast partners and 0 revenue. This is the sponsorship exit clause, and it is the most dangerous piece of paper in professional sports today. The executives in New York were so desperate for a win that they sold the soul of the league to the highest bidder without checking the fine print. Now, the players are finding out that their expected raises are tied to a moving goalpost that is designed to make them fail. The game tape on the league's finances doesn't lie, and the numbers are terrifying for anyone who actually cares about the sport. The WNBA was getting roughly $60 million a year before this new deal, which barely covered the cost of charter flights and basic marketing. Jumping to $200 million a year sounds like a massive win, until you realize the overhead costs have tripled in the same time frame. The league is currently being forced to spend money it doesn't have to keep up the appearance of a major league product. They are booking bigger arenas and hiring more staff based on the promise of that future $2.2 billion. But that money is not guaranteed, and the networks have built in an escape hatch that allows them to bail if the hype dies down. We are already seeing the cracks in the foundation, as the mid-season ratings for games not featuring the top 2 rookies have started to crater. The networks noticed this immediately, and the tone in the boardroom has shifted from excitement to panic. The WNBA is a product that is currently being overvalued by the media, and the correction is going to be violent. When the bubble bursts, the players are the ones who are going to be left holding the bag, while the executives retreat to their golden parachutes. The locker room has officially turned, because the veteran players know they are being used as props in a massive corporate scam. While the rookies are getting the headlines and the shoe deals, the women who built this league are seeing their career earnings stagnate. The league office told them to be patient and wait for the new TV deal to kick in. But now that the deal is here, the money is locked behind impossible benchmarks. To trigger the full $2.2 billion payout, the league has to maintain a viewership average that is higher than most Major League Baseball games and NHL playoffs. This is a league that struggled to get 400,000 people to tune in just 2 years ago, and now they're being asked to pull in millions every single night. It is a mathematical impossibility, and the league office knew it when they signed the papers. They wanted the big headline to boost their own reputations while leaving the actual work of hitting those numbers to the players. The players are being overworked and underpaid, while being told they should just be grateful for the exposure. But exposure doesn't pay the rent, and it doesn't fund a retirement plan. The tension between the front office and the union is at an all-time high, and a lockout is no longer a possibility, but a total certainty. The corruption goes even deeper when you look at how the individual team owners are reacting to the news. Several owners have already been caught in leaked emails complaining that the new deal doesn't do enough to cover their mounting debts. Even with the projected TV money, at least 4 franchises are still projected to lose money over the next 3 seasons. The league is forcing these teams to spend on infrastructure and marketing to satisfy the TV partners, but the actual cash flow isn't there to support it. This is why we are seeing teams push back on player salary increases, and why they are fighting so hard against expansion. They know the league is a house of cards that could collapse if the wind blows the wrong direction. The front office is portraying the league as a booming business, but the internal ledgers show a different story of red ink and desperate loans. They're trying to fake it until they make it, but the networks are too smart to be fooled for long. Disney didn't get to be a multi-billion-dollar empire by giving away money for free, and they will be the first ones to pull the plug when the numbers don't add up. The brand deal fallout has already started to hit the league's top stars as sponsors realize the stability isn't there. Nike and Adidas have been hesitant to roll out the massive signature shoe lines that fans were expecting because they can see the writing on the wall. They are looking at the same viewership data and the same exit clauses as the networks. If the league collapses or goes into a prolonged lockout in 2026, those shoe deals become worthless overnight. The corporate world is waiting to see if the WNBA can actually survive without the training wheels of the NBA's financial support. For years, the NBA has been subsidizing the WNBA to the tune of millions of dollars every season, and this new media deal was supposed to be the moment the league finally stood on its own 2 feet. Instead, it has become a noose around the league's neck. The NBA is tired of footing the bill, and they want the WNBA to be profitable now. But you can't force growth with a contract, and you certainly can't force people to watch a product that is being mismanaged at every level. The league is trying to sprint before it can walk, and the result is going to be a devastating fall. Look at the specific broadcast windows that were negotiated in this deal, and you will see the trap clearly. The WNBA agreed to play games during time slots that are historically some of the worst for TV ratings. They are being used as filler for streaming platforms and secondary cable channels, while the big networks keep the prime spots for other sports. This was done to inflate the total number of games broadcast, but it practically guarantees that the viewership numbers will stay low. The networks get to claim they are supporting women's sports while simultaneously setting the league up to fail the performance triggers. It is a brilliant and cold-blooded move by the media giants. They get the tax write-offs and the good PR today while holding a loaded gun to the league's head for tomorrow. The WNBA front office was so blinded by the $2.2 billion figure that they didn't realize they were being steered into a dead end. They traded long-term security for a short-term press release, and the price of that mistake is going to be the destruction of the league as we know it. The technical breakdown of the salary cap under this new deal is even more insulting to the players. Even if the league hits every single performance target, the cap is not scheduled to rise significantly for several years. The owners built in protections for themselves to make sure they get paid first before a single dollar reaches the player payroll. We are talking about a league where the average salary is still less than what a backup punter makes in the NFL. The players are expected to be world-class athletes and 24/7 brand ambassadors while making 5-figure salaries in some cases. When you factor in the cost of living in cities like New York or Los Angeles, these players are actually losing money just to stay in the league. The frustration is boiling over, and you can see it in the way the players are talking to the media. They are done playing nice, and they are done pretending that everything is fine. The league has officially entered a civil war between the suits, who want to protect the bottom line, and the players who just want a fair share of the pie they're baking. The league is also facing a massive reputation ruin because of how they have handled the technical foul and suspension data this year. They have been handing out fines and technicals at an unprecedented rate to try and control the narrative and keep the games clean for the new sponsors. But all this has done is alienate the fans who liked the grit and the raw emotion of the game. The league is trying to corporate wash the WNBA to make it more appealing to Manhattan boardrooms, but in doing so, they are killing the very thing that made it special. The fans don't want a sterilized product designed by a marketing firm. They want the rivalry and the intensity. But the league office is terrified that one bad incident will give the networks an excuse to trigger that exit clause early. They are policing the players like they are in a boarding school instead of a professional sports league. The players feel the pressure, and it is affecting the quality of the game on the court. You can't play at a high level when you are constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if a competitive stare is going to cost you a week's pay. The game tape doesn't lie, and the contract receipts are finally out for the whole world to see. The WNBA thought they were playing chess, but the networks were playing a completely different game. The $2.2 billion deal is a mirage that disappears the moment you get close enough to look at the details. The league is currently heading toward a total meltdown that will see franchises fold and players walk away from the sport entirely. The sponsorship exit clause is the smoking gun that proves the league office never had a real plan for sustainable growth. They just wanted to cash out and let the next generation deal with the fallout. But the fallout is coming much sooner than they expected, and there is no way to stop the bleeding now. The league has been officially suspended by its own greed, and the clock is ticking down to zero. The WNBA has spent years begging for a seat at the table, and now that they have it, they realize the table is rigged. They sold the fans a dream of a billion-dollar future while signing a contract that ensures they will never see that money. The veterans are angry, the rookies are confused, and the fans are starting to catch on to the scam. This isn't about growing the game anymore. It is about survival in a corporate environment that wants to extract every bit of value before discarding the remains. The league office can keep putting out shiny graphics and talking about historic deals, but the reality is written in the legal fine print. The WNBA is in a fight for its life, and the people running the show are the ones who put the noose around its neck. The final buzzer is about to sound on this era of the league, and the score is not in their favor. The cost of toxic leadership and corporate desperation is finally being realized, and it is going to be a long, cold winter for women's basketball. The league didn't just gamble its future, it threw it away for a headline that wasn't even true. The game is over, and the house always wins.